Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. Get that team off there. Don't need to see that early doors, do we? Because that shouldn't have been on. Welcome back to the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is your countdown to kickoff. Because already, again, we don't get to properly enjoy a victory because it's a 3-game week. So it's box that one off, done, on to the next one. But listen, first things first, I want to say thank you to everybody for their really kind comments on the after party. I really enjoyed it. To have Gary Sinclair come on as well and Ted Emsley making his Blades Ramble debut. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, thank you to everybody that participated, whether that was live, whether that was in person, whether it was online, whether it was after the stream, and giving you feedback. I really appreciate it. So that will stay as a show that we look to do. And as I say, we're really good. Got a bit of a buzz from doing it, to be honest. First time we've been in a sort of live setting. Had my microphone. Didn't really know what I were doing. But we roll with it, don't we? So another really good win for Sheffield United last night. 3-0 against Portsmouth. Struggling Portsmouth, it has to be said. A little bit dull. I think the general consensus was it was a little bit dull. Certainly the atmosphere was very flat up until around 40 minutes. Then we got the luck with the penalty. I say the luck, but we were forcing the issue. I think we were the better team at that stage. I think we'd edged it until that point, but not by much. They were quite a poor side, even with 11 men, I would say. And then they block Tanganga's goal-bound header with a hand, and the lad gets sent off, and they're down to 10 men for the final 55 minutes of the game. The resulting penalty, Sidney Peck steps up, gets his first goal for United. I want to know what you think about that. Let me know in the comments, because Bamford stood for the ball. Stood for ages with the ball, and it looked like he weren't letting it go for anybody. We've done this before, where one player takes the ball and then takes any abuse or any mind games that opposition players try and get into their heads with, and then handed it over. So we've seen this done before. But I was convinced Bamford were taking this just because he's on such a short-term deal and he's desperate to make an impact. So I thought he basically not pulled rank, because you can't when you're so new, I suppose, but as an experienced pro, and you know, I'm sure the players in the squad respect him, I thought he's just said he's having it as the anointed number 9, even though he doesn't wear the number 9, but this is what Wilder's been talking about him being. So I thought, yeah, it'd be a great start for him if he scores. If he doesn't, then it could be a little bit rocky. But then he hands it over to Sidney, and Sidney steps up. And look, if you tell me you weren't nervous about Sidney stepping up and taking this penalty, I won't believe you. Because I think I turned to face my dad, and he was like, obvious. Look, whatever we say, because my dad's been open about his feelings about Sidney and that he's not quite reached his potential. He's not the one at the moment. He hopes he's wrong. Like we all hope we're wrong when we don't like, or we don't particularly rate players at a certain point in time. But I turned to my dad when he handed it to Sidney, and he winced a little bit, and I were wincing, and a few around us were all like, oh, I hope he gets this. It's more that we hope he gets it for him, because it's been such a monkey on his back that to get this first goal, not necessarily from the crowd, but it felt like he was so desperate to get his first Sheffield United goal. Anyway, he steps up and he puts it in the bottom corner. Not the most convincing of penalties, but look, don't matter, does it? Don't matter. It's Sheffield United are 1-0 up and we're off, to be honest. At that stage, the only thing you have to guard against, and it's easier to do so against 10 men, but you've got to guard against that second half jolt that we've been subject to so many times. I don't think we'll be caught. We certainly, it won't be I'm not going to say that, actually. I'm going to say I don't think we'll be caught out by that again, but we've been caught out enough times to know that we can be vulnerable at that stage. Who's to say we won't be caught out again, because we probably will at some stage, but we came out second half and controlled it like you'd expect us to. Quickly went to 2-0. Patrick Bamford, delighted with Pat Bamford getting on the score sheet. Apparently, and I hadn't seen it back, but Jack was telling me last night live on the after party that it were another Tanganga header that came off the bar and Bamford tapped it in. We saw a little bit of a scramble, but I couldn't quite see what happened. I just saw, we saw Bamford wheeling away, celebrating, which is great. So on his first start for Sheffield United, he scores. Great for him to get off the mark. And then the little magician comes on, Gustavo, and pops an absolute pearler. Like, anything you guys can do, I can do better. A trademark Gus finish, really, which is crazy to say because it were a bit of a worldie, but he loves coming in off that left-hand side, which we, a few of us have openly criticised early doors, and then you have to sort of regress to, actually, he's doing all right out there. And I thought he looked really sharp when he came on. I thought first couple of touches were a little bit sus, and then he were away, and we've missed him. We've missed that Gus for a while, haven't we? Even when he were fit, we've missed that Gus. We just need to keep that Gus on the field. But it's starting to look more. Obviously, he curls it beautifully into the top corner to make it 3-0 and just finished them off completely. I thought the Portsmouth fans were excellent all throughout the game. There were some great chants going from theirs. I thought we were disappointing as a crowd, to be honest. Again, and I was in the crowd. We were very quiet at the Lane. Until like the third went in, and then it were a bit more jovial. It were just signs of a very nervous crowd, and I don't know. We need to be. This is a collective. We need to be better. I don't know why it was so subdued after such a brilliant result on Sunday. You'd have thought we'd have bounced a little bit as a crowd. I know the team certainly did, but you'd have thought we'd have bounced a little bit into the game last night, and I don't think the fans did. I think we were nervous. So we go away to Leicester now. On Saturday, 12:30 kickoff. You'll be able to watch it live on the Blades Ramble. Myself and Jordan Motson will be here from midday, so we hope to see you there. If you're not able to attend the game, if you're going to be watching on Sky, then come and watch us. Mute Don Goodman or Andy Hinchcliffe or Lee Hendry or whoever appalling that they've got on this time, and get the slightly better Jord Motson and myself, but that's only due to Jord, to be fair, because I just spend my time reading the comments and talking to you guys rather than I should be watching the game. To be fair with those, with Sheffield United games, which we always watch on Blades Ramble as opposed to Ramble FC, I concentrate more on the game itself because obviously it's our team, isn't it? So anyway, what are we thinking going into Saturday then? Are we too greedy to ask for 3 points? Because, look, it's Leicester away. And I think, I was saying last night, on paper, Sunday was the worst team we'll play of this three. And it certainly proved to be that. We just didn't know it at the time because of the Derby X factor that was hanging over it. But they were shocking on Sunday, and we deservedly romped to a 3-0 victory. This was the medium level. If you're in a video game, it's the medium level hardness, difficulty. And we've come through that test. Whether you find it to be fortunate or not that we got the look of the green, it doesn't matter. You've to beat what's in front of you. And it's about time we got the bounce of the ball on some occasions, because I think last year a lot of the 50-50s went in our favour. We got late winners and were able to hang on in difficult situations, etc. This season we've had absolutely nothing like that. We've been totally against the run of play in a lot of things. That doesn't mean we've deserved a lot more than we've got, but those 50-50s where it's been closer, it's just not fallen for us. Whereas last night, the big decision in the 40th minute, which was the right decision, it fell for us last night, and then we obviously took the game away from them. So this was the medium difficulty, and then we're moving on to what a lot of us would deem to be the hard game of the three. It's the third level. It's the final boss of this 3-game cluster, isn't it? So it's Leicester City away, and a lot of level-headed Blades that I spoke to yesterday were happy to, in light of the 3-0 victory against Portsmouth, would snap your hand off for a point at the King Power. That includes Andy the Blade, Jordan Motson, Batman Lou. There's I wouldn't. I know it's a bit greedy, and I've put it in the text here. Can we be greedy and get another 3 points at Leicester? Leicester, let's have a look at their form. I know I'm going all out of sync here with what we normally do, but let's have a look at their form. See if we can get it up here. So they've lost, drawn, won, and then lost again. They lost 3-0 against Southampton, but they had 10 men themselves. They're down in 15th. They're on 24 points. These are the, I think, let me get the table up. I should have probably had this prepared a little bit before, but these are where the points gap starts to open up. Yeah, so Leicester and Charlton in 16th, who have really plummeted, by the way. They were up in 5th about 3 weeks ago. Leicester are on 24 points and Charlton are on 23. We are in 21st on 16. So there's a little bit of a points discrepancy at the moment. If we can get up to this Leicester level of 24 points, then it's they're 3 points away from the playoffs. So there's a lot to be excited about. Let me just see if I've got another graphic about that. I think I have. So prediction coming. Here we go. Yeah, so that's where they are. They've played 17, as have we. 29 games to go for both sides, by the way. They've won 6, we've won 5. They've drawn 6 and we've drawn 1. We've lost 11. Moving on. And they've lost 5. They have a better goal difference than us, which obviously we know we suffered from earlier in the season. So yeah, an 8-point gap between them, but not that many places in the table. So this is where we have to sort of make the points up. Might not see an immediate drastic table change, even if we put 2 or 3 wins together, and then we get to the level pegging sort of stakes where if we can get into this cluster of 15th, 16th, 17th, then there's not going to be a lot of points between us and higher up, shall we say. We're not going to get too carried away, are we? But we'll see. We'll see. So what do we move on to now? Let's have a little look. So let's have a look at the previous Blades 11. So this is last night's team. Cooper were in goal. Tanganga and me were the centre-back pairing. The right back was Sariki and the left back was McCallum. This is undoubtedly our first choice back four at the moment. And I would say justifiably so. I would also say Sariki, I thought, was a little bit underwhelming last night. A little bit. Because he'd had a great game against Sheffield Wednesday. And I thought he just looked a little bit suspect at times in possession, a little bit laboured, a little bit, a bit sloppy, I would probably say. I don't think Brooks had the best game out on the right either. So in midfield, it was Brooks on the right, Callum O'Hare on the left, Sidney Peck and Gyro in the middle, who I thought both had really good games. And then up front, surprisingly, in the only change from the Steel City derby was Patrick Bamford making his full debut for Sheffield United, his first start, and Tom Cannon. Tom Cannon got rewarded for decent performances recently, and obviously he got a goal in the Steel City derby as well, with a start which I thought was quite surprising, because he's deemed to be, in my head, Wilder has him as the fourth choice striker. But I will say, I thought he was very good yesterday. I thought he was very good. I mean, my man of the match went to Callum O'Hare because I thought he did not stop running at all. But you could make a case for other players yesterday, which shows how well we played. So a lot of people would say Tom Cannon. When I were asking for who stood out for you today, some said Patrick Bamford, some said Tom Cannon because of his work rate off the ball. Baldwin brilliantly said he was his work rate off the ball was absolutely excellent. Gyro got a few shouts for man of the match as well. So it's good to see that players are returning to some sort of form. Obviously, then Gus comes off the bench and makes a real impact. And when Brooks hasn't had the best of games, it does give you confidence that we've got the players now. If somebody's having a dip in form, then we've got better players that can, or different options that can come in, if you like. So I think there's now an easier route back in for Gustavo. Let's have a look. So what do you think? I think this is, I don't know if this is the first time this season that this has happened, but I'm going to tell you my predicted lineup for Leicester. This is what I think Chrissy Wilder will go with. I think he goes with the same formation, which has worked really well for us over the last few games. The 4-4-2, I think he goes Michael Cooper in goal. Sticks with the same back four of Femi Siriki at right back, Japhet Tanganga and Ben Mee in the middle, and Sam McCallum at left back. I think this time, stick with Sidney Peck and Gyro in the middle, I think. He did say Chong's available for this fixture, but I certainly wouldn't expect him to start. I think Callum O'Hare starts on the right-hand side this time, because I think that accommodates Gus Hamer on the left. I also think he starts with the same two, Pat Bamford and Tom Cannon up front, because I think they worked really well together. I think you could certainly put a case in for Tyrese Campbell, but I think he loves Patrick Bamford. I think Patrick Bamford levels us up a little bit. And you've also got to remember, where did we get Tom Cannon from? It's against his former club. He'll want to prove a point. I think this is a bit of an X-factor game for Tom Cannon. And can it be the one where he really sort of takes the shackles off in a Sheffield United shirt? We can only hope so, can't we? So that is the team I predict that Chris Wilder will play. Could be wrong, obviously. But I have got a couple of these nailed on this season, which is ridiculous, because I've no idea. He keeps us all guessing, doesn't he, a lot of the time. But here's my team. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. And look, previously I have gone slightly different with what I'd like to see as a starting format. But how can you? We've just won 2 games, 3-0 on the bounce. The 4-4-2 is working for us. Yes, Callum O'Hare's not a right winger. I'm still not convinced Gus is a left forward. But it works for the way that we're playing at the moment. And look, Callum O'Hare will tuck inside. Gus Hamer will tuck inside. That'll give Siriki and McCallum space to bomb forward as well. I think Bamford levels us up, like I've said. I think Tom Cannon could be an X-factor in this game against his former club. I am really excited going into this game. And I think you cannot question what Wilder's done, particularly over the last couple of games. It's worked, hasn't it? Whatever it is. And look at the impact that his players have had. Gyro Riedeveld and Pat Bamford already. This team is becoming much more synonymous with Chris Wilder, and we know that Ted Emsley agreed with that, or was certainly a big proponent of that Chris Wilder is the man to lead us forward. Gaz Sinclair, who loves Chris Wilder, I think probably just as much as I do, they were both saying how ridiculous it was, the decision in the summer, etc., which I think a lot of us would say is right. But yeah, it's exciting to think that this team could go to Leicester and be competitive. And again, we'll look at Leicester now, because they're not all that and a bag of chips at the minute. They are not. They're not firing on all cylinders. It is Leicester City. It is recently relegated Leicester City, but they're down in 15th, and the form is patchy at best. I don't think it's too much to go there and ask to and try and get through all 3 points the way that we're playing. They all season they have played a 4-2-3-1. They might have good players, but they are predictable in what they do. So I've picked out the key man here as Mavididi, and I know that you couldn't pick out more than just the one, because Leicester have got some good players, and they will turn the corner eventually. Some might have Fatawu as their danger man. This was their lineup last time out. I don't know if I've still got their previous formation up. Let me just see if I can get it. In terms of who plays where. But I'd fully expect them to stick with the 4-2-3-1. Just by the way that they've been... they've done it for the previous 17 games. So the last time out, they played Chowdhury at right back, which is really interesting, because obviously we've played him there. I know he's played there for Leicester previously, but we played him there last season. They've got Fass and Vestergaard at the back. I really like Vestergaard as a player. I'm interested to see how him against Patrick Bamford goes. Patrick Bamford winning a load of headers against Portsmouth yesterday. Will he try and stand on the shoulder of the weaker of the two, which I would say is Fass? So, yeah, maybe Bamford up against Fass, and then Cannon trying to get around Vestergaard might be the way forward. Or will he go with 2 potential battering rams in Bamford and Campbell up against these two? Aluko was the left back for this game, but he got red carded against Southampton. So it will likely be Luke Thomas. the old Sheffield United loanee. So their fullbacks will be former Sheffield United loanees. Oliver Skipp and Harry Winks in the middle. Harry Winks, how the mighty have fallen. He were expected to be, coming through Tottenham's academy, weren't it? I think that he came through, and he was supposed to be a real big hitter. And I'm sure he'll be a very good player at this level. I'm yet to see it, to be honest. I'm yet to see it. James is in the 10. Jordan James. Fatawu is on the right, and Mavadidi is on the left, and Daka through the middle as the sole striker. But as I say, there's threats all over here for them. And if they play to their maximum, then it's going to be a really tough afternoon for us. You'll look at some of their players on the bench as well. I know we don't know too many of them, but Ricardo Pereira there has been the captain. You see that Chowdhury's wearing the armband for them there. But Ricardo Pereira has been the captain previously. He plays right back. Decordova-Reid, so Bobby Reid, some of you may remember him as at Fulham. Monga is the young kid that's a bit of a wonder kid coming through their ranks. Ayew, who has been playing as a sole striker as well, so it might be him for Daka, something like that. So there's some big players in their squad, as we know and as we expect, but they haven't been playing well. And I don't think there's much for us to fear with regards to this. I don't, honestly. Okay, so, I've just got a message in. Let's see what this says.
Steve Bracknell here, assistant manager at Royal Oak FC. I know you hate me, feelings mutual. Listen, give me some Jipping Street. All's fair in love and war. And I've no qualms in saying subscribe to Blades Ramble. I want 50 quid. 50 quid.
That was brilliant. That was from doing the Radio Sheffield bit with him last week, so thank you to Steve Bracknell, assistant manager at Royal Oak FC. For doing that for us. So, only thing left for me to do now is give you a score prediction, and then we'll move into your comments to wrap up. So, how do I think we'll go? I'm greedy now. I think we'll do it. I think we'll nick it. I think we're good enough to. I think we can ride the momentum and have a 9-point week. It's just incredible how the mood in the camp is at the moment. So, why not? Why not say we can bounce into Leicester and go and beat them on their own patch? Look, I wouldn't take a point. I wouldn't. I suppose Man Mountain said it earlier. I think he posted in the group. He wouldn't take a point either. So, yeah, anyway, you can join all the action with myself and Jordan Motson. 12 o'clock on Saturday. Let's jump into your comments now, see what you guys are saying. In fact, I'll leave that up just so that it's a bit of advertising, isn't it, for when we're going to be back on properly. So, who's starting us off tonight? It is. Paul says, according to AI, Sheffield United scored 55 points from the last 29 games of last season. 16 plus 55 is 71. I'm saying it, we are Premier League. Up the Ramble TV empire. Unbelievable. Thank you, mate. My team says Footy Fanatic is Coops, McCallum, me, Tanganga and Sariki, Riedewald and Peck, Hamer, O'Hare, and Campbell and Cannon up top. So the only difference to my team there is Campbell in for Bamford. Fair dues, pal. Fair dues. 4-2-2-2. Evening, Jimmy says, Lou, congrats on the first after party last night. Thought it went down really well. Topped off back-to-back wins. Professional display from United last night. Thank you, mate. Leicester is a different challenge again. I can only see this game being tight. They don't score many at home, but they don't concede many either. But they've got Luke Thomas playing now. I'll save my score prediction for football therapy. Oh, nice. Nice little plug for football therapy. We're on live on Ramble FC at 8 o'clock. So, yes, and Lewis will be joining us as a Platinum Rambler representative. So, yeah, we'll see you there at 8 o'clock. Nice one, Lou. Thank you for that, pal. Save your prediction for then. I would stick with 4-4-2 and make 2 changes on Saturday. Campbell back in for Cannon. Gus in for Brooks. But O'Hare on the right. Up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Interesting a lot bringing Campbell back in for Bamford or Cannon. I understand the thought process. Dom says, last time we won at Leicester, we beat them 5-2. That was 35 years ago in 1990. We haven't won there since. Drawn 2, lost 8, I believe. They've been a much bigger and better side than us in previous history, though, aren't they, Dom, to be fair? And things do change over time. I don't think there's an awful lot between the two sides at the minute. So it's as good a chance as any to rectify that awful record. But thank you, that is interesting. Martin says, evening, Jim. I think them Blades could nick it 2-1. Good lad. But looking back, Leicester have beat us on the last 7 outings. Luck has to change. 2-1 Blades, up the Ramble. I think luck is changing. We'd never beaten Wendy's 3-0 at Hillsborough, had we? And here we are. So, Ontario Blades says, hi, Jimmy. Hope you've recovered from the after party. I think new fitness coach is having an effect. The team look a lot fitter than 3 weeks ago. It's great to be out of the bottom 3 up the Ramble. I agree. I think the team has looked a lot fitter recently. Ontario Blade again says, here's my team for Saturday. Cooper, Sariki Tanganga, me, McCallum as your back 4. Gyro, Peck, Callum Ware and Gus, and Cannon and Ings. There you go. So that is, we have heard 4 teams there. You've heard mine, you've heard Lewis's, you've heard Ontario Blades, and you've heard Footy Fanatics. And we've all had different striker combinations. So that tells you how healthy the competition is in the squad at the moment. Then sub the front 2. Better to have Gus on from the start and then sub him off. Up the worldwide Ramble. Top man. Thank you, mate. Cole says, hi, Jimmy. Enjoyed the after party. The only way is up. Keep cool, heads. We get in there. Nice one, mate. David Haig says, at least a point needed to keep the momentum, and I think we'll get up. We will get up the Blades, up the Ramble. We will get up. Is that we will get up the Blades? Anyway, up the Ramble 2-1 win. Top man, David. We'll take a 2-1 win, won't we? It's not a Blades Ramble without something going wrong. What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, I did something wrong at the start, didn't I? Oh, well, never mind. Hi, Jimmy. If we can win Saturday, we're back in the playoff game for me, up the Ramble. Does this change anybody's opinion? Is this a little bit like Michael's saying here? Is this the game that says, if we win this one, then playoffs are back on? I know some people are already there thinking that playoffs are back on. But have we got to win this one to convince some people? And there'll be others that think, even if we win this one, we're not going to playoffs this season. That's why we love it, don't we? That's why we love giving us opinions. That's what footy's all about. Chris says, moving in the right direction. Need to stay 2 up top and rotate these forwards as they're all looking good now. Increase the tempo and get after these teams. Tilted says, reckon if the Blades can go on a big run up until Boxing Day, everyone will forget how worrying the start to the season was. I don't think we'll forget about it, pal. But I think all will be forgiven if we can make sure we're in the mix come January. We need to be showing intent, don't we? I'd love to be pushing for top half at January time, but it's a big ask. It's a big ask. Romeo Dunn says, it's all gravy, happy with the win, but need to keep it up. No good winning 2, then losing the rest. Well, yeah, it's no good winning 2, then losing the rest, but yeah, that's obviously what we all want, Romeo. Sheila says, congratulations, Jimmy, on the after-party debut. Have you any info on this rumour about the merger? Will never happen. Like and subscribe. Up the Ramble, up the Blades Ramble. Thank you. Yeah, I've heard the same as everybody else. I think there was a genuine inquiry from what I understand, and it's further evidence to me that they don't understand the region. You know, it's not a bad idea in principle for those that don't get what we are as a region. But the red half and the blue half will most likely tell you it's a huge no from them. I can't speak. I would never speak for everybody. I can only speak for myself and those that I've spoken to. I don't know maybe 1 or 2 in the Platinum chat that I wonder if it's just for the devil's advocate argument that think it might be a decent thing to consider. I think the vast majority of both sets of supporters will be staunchly against it. The rivalry between Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday is part of what we are as clubs independently. How good did it feel on Sunday to beat them at their ground? We could be looking back in 10 games' time and saying that result at Hillsborough changed our whole season. And it's because of where it is. It's not because, we went to a poor team and we beat them. It's because of who we've beaten. And it changes the whole feeling around the club. Look at the celebrations afterwards. Look at the history, just recent history of Chris Wilder on the tables and getting criticised online for it. And, and I know with their club going under such scrutiny and all things that were happening, we sort of softened a touch because that's the human element. That's outside of football. But staying on the pitch, the rivalry is very healthy. So it's a huge no from me, Sheila. It's a huge no. Sheffield City FC, no, thank you. We're Blades, aren't we? There's a red half and there's a blue half, and we both halves like it that way. The one thing I will say is, it might come to a point where they don't care. I'm not saying this is the case, but it may come to a stage where they have so much money that they're just, we have no say in the matter, and they merge both clubs together anyway. I don't think it will happen. It will never happen, in my opinion. But they could do that, technically speaking. We don't have a say in it. We can be as loud and vociferous about it as we need to be, but ultimately, I don't think we'd be able to stop it. So anyway, don't think it's happening. Aid says, I think Bamford impact is clear. The performances of other strikers, all three have raised their level since Paddy was signed. Completely agree. Yeah, I think Wilder said as much, Auntie, in the pressers. Ian says, evening Jimmy, quietly confident for Saturday. Delighted for City and Bamford. Could prove to be a masterstroke. Gus doing Gus things. Foxes 0, Blades 3 to complete the perfect week. Oh, up the after party. Nice one, mate. I hope you're right. That'd be incredible. Absolutely incredible. 9 points and 9 goals would be great, says Chris. It would be great. I can't. It's not very realistic, if we're honest, is it? 3-0 at Leicester. James says, happy Peck's, for Peck's goal. Don't want him on pens permanently, but don't want him on Peck's... You tell I'm tired, can't you? Happy for Peck's goal, but I don't want him on pens permanently. I'd agree with that. He can't get a corner over the first man, so definitely doesn't have the power to score a penalty convincingly. Harsh but fair. James always coming in with a couple of reality checks, and I love that. Dave Morwood says, evening Jimmy, loved the after party last night with the legend ATB. Oh, and Ted Emsley. Yeah, me too, Dave. Me too. Absolutely brilliant. Mark Shaw says, evening Jimmy, after recent results, will you be revising your Jan transfer requirements? Personally, I will go for a backup goalkeeper, right back and right winger up the Blades, up the award-winning Ramble. Like and subscribe. Yeah, I think it's shifted already, hasn't it, to be honest? I think we no longer need a striker. I think that's clear, to be honest. It's very early days, but on this current, what from the early signs, we should be signing Bamford till the end of the season, and then we don't need to look for a striker in January, which is a huge saving for the club as well. So, yeah, we might have another look at it if it's pertinent, if it's something that people are interested in, but it won't change loads because I still think we need a few things. It's just good to see that we've turned and we can look at it in a more positive light, isn't it? Sometimes Gusema takes one too many touches for me. Stop being greedy, as we used to say. You forgive him a little bit, though, don't you? It's like he carries weight. There is no doubt about it. He carries too much weight. But if he does the business for you, then they get away with more because they're better players. And it shouldn't be like that. But that is how it is. Because nobody else on the pitch could have scored the goal that he scored last night. And that's why he can carry an extra stone or half a stone. And that's just the way it is. Matt Letizia were the same, to a lesser degree, to a greater degree, obviously. But he always had a little pot belly, didn't he, Matt Letizia? Or he certainly appeared to do, from my memory. But what was Southampton going to do? Drop him if he didn't lose weight? No, because he's their talisman, and he's the best player they had by a stretch. So don't forget, Jim, Noah Luco. Yes, Man Mountain. Brand says, evening Jim, if ever there is any atmosphere at the lane, it comes from the back of the cop. It's everyone else in the ground that needs to pull their weight. Also, no 90 after 90. That was superseded by the after party. I thought about doing it today, but then because it's a 3-game week, it's just there's not enough time to do it, because when would I have done it? 5 o'clock today. Then we've got the countdown to kick off. Then I'm on football therapy at 8. Then tomorrow we'll have hot off the presser. So there's just not enough time. I think maybe we'll do an after party and a 90 after 90 when there's no 3-game week. But we'll have to play it by ear. Plus, a lot of the people you heard from on the after party would be the people you'd have heard from on 90 after 90 anyway. So I think it's sort of a hybrid, isn't it? In terms of the atmosphere, the Cop aren't great at the moment either. In terms of the creating the atmosphere, certainly the most effort comes from the Cop. Always has, and probably always will. But I think we all have to take collective blame for the atmosphere not being what it could be. Not necessarily what it should be, because they haven't given us a lot to cheer about this season. But if we want to be, holier than thou and say we're doing our bit, I don't think we quite are at the moment. And that's just my honest reflection on it. Bistow Brett says, best thing about the Pompey game, other than 3 of the 5 PB uniting, was the after party. What a show. It was class. I mean, the 3-0 win was good as well. 3 wins from 3 incoming, says Bistow Brett. Up all the positive ones, up all the rambles, and up the blades. Top man. I will be happy with a point to keep the momentum, says Mark. The atmosphere does need to get better, says Chris. We want it all. We want it all. 9 from 9, says Ontario Blade. The Dr. Robotnik of games, you could say. The Mr. Bison of battles at the King Power. The M. Bison of battles at the King Power. What are you on? M. Bison, class. James says the atmosphere is bad because we aren't underdogs, don't play attractive brand of football, and very rarely do individual players do something noteworthy, e.g. beat a man, hard tackle, show skill. I'm not saying there aren't reasons for it. Last time we played good football was Illiman and Gibbs White season. Before that was the overlapping centre half 2 seasons, one in the Champ and one in the Prem when we finished mid-table. Should the team have to play pretty football for us to get behind them, though, James? I know what you're saying. There's an argument to say they need to give us something to cheer for, but I do think we have a responsibility to help them as well. It's not just a case of sit back and entertain me, is it? We support it. You saw a prime example would be we scored I don't know if it were our second or our third goal, and the Portsmouth fans immediately started chanting for the team and cheering and clapping. And they'd been awful. So they didn't deserve the support that their fans were giving them because they were really poor. And yeah, it were 10 men, and yet it were hard for them. I understand that. I don't mean to say take it out of context. But the fans should stick with any players that are trying. It don't have to look the best. They don't have to be the best. As long as we think they're putting a shift in, that's when the fans should get behind them. And I think a lot of us recognise the players are now putting a shift in for the shirt. And that alone, for me, warrants us getting behind them. So I get you, though, in terms of, well, they're not showing us anything, above the level that we need, or attractive football and things like that, Brad. Ian says, Brooks, thanks but no thanks, time to move him on. Peake says, we can beat any team in this division, home or away, if we turn up and play how we know we can. Something special from Hamer, Campbell's finishing, O'Hare, City, Bamford, they all wanted to score. Bring home the 3 points, lads. Up the blades, up the ramble. Like and subscribe. Thank you, Peake. Regal Smokes. Yes, boy. How's it going? Nice to meet you and your partner yesterday. Hey up, Jimmy. Pleasure seeing you, ATB and the rest of the crew before and after the match. Hope I weren't too embarrassed. You weren't embarrassing at all, mate. You and the community you built is world-class and so welcoming. Up the ramble. Thank you, mate. I saw you loitering in the background of the after party, and I was trying to catch your attention, but obviously I were on air at the same time, so you should have come over and had a chat, and you're more than welcome to do that anytime. So, yeah, great to meet you, pal, and up the blades, as always. What's worked is playing 2 up top and rotating, says Chris. So you wouldn't stick with the same 2. That's fair enough. Don't say Monga. Why read it? Why put it? I might get demonetized. Yes, evening all, says Ray. We were very quiet last night, but we got the win, so no complaints on that. Love the after party. Love talking to Jamie Dumpling before the game. Yeah, I love that Jamie Dumpling gets recognised now. Evening lads and lasses, confident now for Saturday. Up the blades, up the ramble, says Chris. Ray says he's a great young man who knows his stuff. He is Ramble royalty. I would agree he's Ramble royalty, Ray. And he's a great young man. That's it. 1-0 blades, says Ben. Hit the like button, please, says Ian. 150 to 1 for top 2, says Rich. There's a reason for that, Rich. 14 points behind, it's rate odds. Oh, my word. Surely not. Don't call me Shirley, as my dad would say. I've not been thinking of Leicester as a problem. Been looking at Stoke, says John. Stoke at home, though. Stoke at home. And it's the Ramble Christmas do. So we could be having an after party for Stoke, because we only have after parties if we win, and then going out on the town. Stoke could be a good day, a good day. Paul says, evening Jimmy, I really enjoyed the after party last night. Looking forward to many more too. But too far away. Let's put the Fox. Not too far away, I think you mean. Let's put the Foxes on the run. 2-1 Blades win. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe. Stick says, play like they did in the last 2 games. We've got knowledge and quality to pull it off. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. PS, last night was good, but camera a bit cloudy. Might be worth investing in a DJI or something to use separately. It was, Stick, that's a fair comment. It was the laptop camera. And I just wanted as streamlined a show as possible, not with loads and loads of kit that I needed to set up, because if it didn't work or it didn't go down very well, then there were no point in it. But there is a way that I can set my phone up as the camera, which will be more than enough for a stream from there. So yeah, we're looking into it. Fair comment, and I'll look to get that sorted out. Maybe not for the next one, but over the coming weeks. Alessandro says, we'll take a draw right now against Leicester. However, they aren't pulling trees up currently, so get at them, Blades. 0-2, up the Ramble, up the Blades. Matt says, I'll just be happy to stay up, which I think will anybody. I think we will. Anything is more possible. Is more a positive. Cannon to score the winner on Saturday past his former club. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Chris says, let's get the playoffs out of our heads. Take one game at a time, and it'll take care of itself. Chris, why be so sensible? Why be so reasonable and balanced? You don't need to be that when you can be deluded like me and think that we can. That's it now. Playoffs are on. But I know what you're saying. That is the absolute best way to look at it. That's self-preservation, isn't it? Scum Army says, would the EFL let there be a merger? No way. It's just paper talk. It's not paper talk. It's a genuine inquiry. But, yeah, I'm not sure the EFL would block it. Why would the EFL block it? Because they're losing one of their clubs? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they'd have a strong argument. I just don't think it'd happen. I don't think the fans would accept it. But again, that's to some degree is a non-factor because we don't have an actual say in it. Someone living just north of the USA, I can tell you Americans don't know anything about anyone else in the world. Okay, thanks, mate. I'll give you Pat B. I'd give Pat B a 2-year deal here and now, says Bry. So, same for Gyro. I think Gyro's definitely shown enough. I think it's less than a full 90 minutes for Pat Bamford, but so far so good. Charlie says, I am with Man Mountain on the. Oh right, I thought you meant you were with him. I'm with Man Mountain on this. We will win on Saturday. 2-1 Blades and take all 9 points on offer. Up the positive platinum lady. Up the Blades. Up the Ramble. Yes, Charlie. Love that. Top platinum Rambler. Long-time supporter of the Ramble. Yes, love it. If we ever merge with them, I'll be taking up cricket, says Matt. SUFC edits, spells out Blades in individual messages and then says up the Blades. Thank you, pal. I gave that lady a red card at the after party, Jim. Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, she needed one. Shout out to Al. Hope you're good. Hope the head's all right. Great to meet you, to be fair. Please don't spam the chat, says Bry. Jimmy, Tom says, hi, Jimmy. Do you think this is the start of a good run? Turn of fortune for the Blades? I can't say that. I can't answer that out loud because I'm just setting myself up for failure and the team potentially. It's a definite jinx that into waiting to happen. But I'm positive about the trajectory of the team. I like what we're doing at the moment. We've got a feel again. So at the beginning of the season, I didn't like the team. I didn't like a lot of the vibes coming out from the team, and I was open about it. It was uncomfortable to even think, but it was. If you remember the 3 Mardy Blades that we did only 4 weeks ago, Dave the Nose was really low about it, and he wasn't the only one, but it got to the point of apathy where his big thing is he loves going with his family, and he's, sorry to use Dave as an example, but he won't mind, I'm sure. Dave the Nose's big thing, like a lot of us, is going with his family, and he loves taking his wife and his son, particularly Aaron, and that's not, but Aaron, his boy, that's their thing as a family that they do. Gut at games, everybody gets up for it, everybody's excited, and we were rubbish. We were so bad, and there were no effort being put in, and it sort of switched you off on a lot of the players and all this sort of thing. Well, now I saw Dave, Kate, and Aaron at the game yesterday, jumping up and down, smiles on their faces, and that way 25,000 other blades as well, because our team is back. What Wilder talks about all the time is the minimum requirements that we expect of a Sheffield, and that he expects and that we expect as fans, is that running around is an absolute non-negotiable. Putting effort in and fighting for the shirt and closing people down and giving effort, blood, sweat and tears is an absolute minimum level requirement. And every player, to a man, is doing that at the moment. And that is why I'm a lot happier with things. And it feels more like a family club again. It feels more like an inclusive club where they get it now. These players that maybe took a little while to settle in, they get it. Even players like Ben Mee. We were saying last night, me and my dad, how good does Ben Mee look now? How comfortable does he look? And yes, the opposition aren't great, but we feel much more comfortable with Ben Mee at the back. He's like a calming influence. And that doesn't mean to say that against better players in the league at 35-year-old, he won't be exposed at times, because he might be. But he's a grizzled legend of the game. You know, he's all but wearing the armband, you know, because he don't need it, but he's a leader on the pitch. I just think it's very much the Sheffield United we know and love now, isn't it? And that is better than anything, whether it's, you know, form or anything else that you're talking about. It feels like we've got our DNA back a little bit. I need to hurry up because I'm due on stream in 10 minutes on Ramble FC. Gus Amer's not in the same league as MLT. MLT? Matty Longthrow. Poor Jimmy talks to us a lot more than his wife and kids. She's happy for that, to be fair. Matt SB, top man. Second place is still up for grabs. Come on, Jimmy, keep going. Mate, we're after it. In fact, there were a few last night saying, watch out, Cov. Watch out, Coventry. We're coming for you. Watch out, Lampard. That'd go better when it as a chant. But yeah, mate, we're looking good again, which is nice. You boys are going great, and I'm delighted for you, to be honest. Only because it's you. Cooler King says, regarding Gus, shouldn't he be challenged by Wilder and shed a bit of weight, gain a yard of pace, and go up from 85% to 100%? He's good now. He could be very, very good. What a weapon he could be. Yes, I agree. I certainly agree. But what we're going to do if he doesn't? Are we going to drop him? We're going to take him out of the team? I don't think we will, because he's too influential. And you're absolutely right. But is it a game of calling his bluff, really, and taking him out of the team? If he don't get under a certain weight, then you're out of the team. Like, if he can produce his performances like he did in his cameo yesterday with an extra half a stone, then he's got half a stone more than everybody else, but he's still playing into. So you're right, Cooler King, in terms of morals and what should be happening in an ideal world. But I just think, you know, if he's producing the goods, he can just stick two fingers up to everybody, can't he? Bryce says, please like, subscribe and share the best Blades channel on the planet, near the universe. Join us in the Ramble family. Thank you, Bry. Lindsay says, hi, Jimmy. Absolutely love the last two games, obviously, but we need to take each game as it comes. Calm down and just try and support the lads as best we can. Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. P.S. Love the after party vlog. Thank you, Lindsay. Appreciate that. Yes, very sensible of you. Very sensible of you. We do need to take each game as it comes, and it's very difficult not to get carried away. So I am going to try and check myself before I wreck myself, as nobody says. James says, agree, it's both the performance and the fan base. We've become entitled over recent years. Yes, we have. Partially because we've all got our hopes up and the club hasn't kicked on and levelled up as expected. Very fair, very fair. Chris says, we're winning the league. Tilted says, can't help but think how big your stadium would be considering a merger. There'd be nobody to fill it though, Tilted. That's a problem. No. It's like, do you think Man U and Man City would merge? No, they wouldn't. Barcelona and Real Madrid? No. It doesn't happen. We're rivals for a reason, and we're very healthy rivals. We don't like each other, and both clubs are better for the rivalry, in my opinion. Giles, he says, hi, Ricky, just leaving the office. Hi, Ricky. Hi, Jimmy. Sorry, Ricky. Hi, Jimmy, just leaving the office. Great win again. Amazing win. I fancy a Leicester win 2-1. Then it's Stoke that are going really well, but I fancy a draw. And look at him, just class will be okay up the Ramble. Do you mean us to beat Leicester 2-1? I think you probably do. Sean says, join the 2 clubs. I know, if this did happen, I would never go to another game. You're not the only one. Dom says, Sheffield City would be a brand new club. Brand new clubs don't just start in the 2nd or 3rd highest league. They start in non-league at the bottom of the football pyramid. It can't and won't happen. Also, as a self-confessed skeptic, says James, and probable pessimist, I'm even convincing myself we'll come away with 3 points against Leicester. Nice, nice. Bryce says, wasn't Jord Motson an entitled diva last night, demanding his theme tune? Really, Jord? And Gilesy says, defence looking class now. 3 clean sheets on the trot. You don't let a goal in, you don't lose. And 6 goals in 2, be all okay. Absolutely right. Mark Meldrew says, all I'm saying is, we're going up. Hotels booked. Behave yourself. Mark Meldrew, the negative one. Not having that. Matt Lattis says, Chris. Yeah, absolutely right. Matt says, if Gus keeps scoring goals like he has, I'll happily buy him a kebab after every game. Fat Sam's. He's been seen in Fat Sam's. Jamie Dumpling is on Hamer Watch. Mark Meldrew says, right, I'll say something serious now. Okay. Shh. Decent performance against 10 men and actually went after him, didn't sit back. Would snap your hand off for a point on Saturday. Definitely something in it for us. Up the Ramble, up the positive Meldrew, up the negative 2. That weren't as serious as I thought it were going to be. It's just sensible, that, pal. John says, when Gus came on, he showed his mind and play is quicker than others. Playing passes early, one where he picked up the ball on the left, turn and switch play quick, already knew what he wanted to do. Saw that. I know exactly which pass you mean. Yeah, class. Jan Mulby carried weight. What a player he was, says Mark. Exactly right. But if Jan Mulby had been built like Cristiano Ronaldo, how good could Jan Mulby have been? So that is the counter, isn't it, to that? AC Milan, Inter Milan, same stadium. Yeah, would hate it. Would hate it. Unless they were paying us an absolute fortune for using it. And no, anyway, either way, would not want it. So, right, I'm going to call it there because in about less than 10 minutes, we're over on Ramble FC for a bit of football therapy. And we are talking, what are we talking tonight? We are talking one season wonders in the Premier League. Myself, bald and brilliantly, Paul the Man Mountain, and Jordan Motson, the man on the mic. If that's something you're interested in, a little bit something different, wider football content rather than just Blades related, then please join us over on Ramble FC for a bit of football therapy. If not, I will see you back here tomorrow. I'm sure it'll be tomorrow. I don't know whether it's morning or afternoon for a bit of hot off the presser. And obviously, after that, as you can see, it's the watch along Saturday at midday. Let's get the last few comments in. Forget the special one, Jord, the entitled one, Motson. Oh, Mark Meldrew. Cam Dog says, took time to wind up the team's performance. Hopefully after the races, Premier League, here we come. The Aussie Blade, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Keep it Ramble, people. You know it makes sense, says Bry. Dan says, the defence is growing game by game. And as said before, you don't give away goals, you win games. Happy for Cannon too. And the ovation he got. Yeah, it was brilliant, that. And well-deserved as well. I was delighted for him. It just shows. And Wilder made a point of saying that in his post-match. That listen to that. That's because of the effort that you've put in today. You deserve what they're giving you here, and they're recognising it. It's mutual appreciation, that. So, yeah, love it. Thank you to everybody that's joined me tonight for this countdown to kickoff. As I say, you will see me back here tomorrow for Hot Off the Presser at some point. So get your notifications switched on if you're not already. Then we'll be here for the watch along and 90 after 90 on Saturday. Right now, I'm jumping over to Ramble FC for a bit of football therapy with the boys. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards! Up the Blades!